Alright, I was going through and sharpening my chisels and hand planes, and then I came to this little beauty. This is my router plane. It's a Veritas. The one thing that you can see here, hopefully, is that this is the 1/4 inch blade. The 1/2 inch blade is no problem. They give you a little holder to hold that blade and put it in a sharpening jig to do the angle. This one, however, there is no way to hold it, but you can see that that blade is manufactured at a bit of an angle here, the base of it, and then you've got your probably 25-degree angle here to the base for your edge. I want to sharpen this thing, and I've checked out some different ways of doing it, but they've all been freehand. I'm not that good a freehand sharpener. So my thought was, how am I going to hold that? Well, here it is. This is the holder. I mean, there's no better way to do it. From my last project, I had these wedges from the legs, and you're going to find this hard to believe, but they're darn near perfect match to this angle here. And so let me show you what I've got in mind. I'm going to build a jig that's going to straddle my stone, like so. Then this will sit on there. I've got it a little high right now, but that'll sit on there. Let me get this out of here. You understand what I'm going to do there. This will straddle the stone, and then this, my wedge, will compensate for that angle and make it parallel to the stone. Alright, here's what I have so far. I decided to use full wedges. I picked out 2 that were perfect matches, and just glued them on to these runners. Now I suppose I could have just cut these at that proper angle, but I did them in 2 pieces, and I want to see how it's going to work too. So that could be an improvement down the road. I'm just going to locate this first one. I'm going to line it up with the edge here and drill a pilot hole with my Vicks bit. Square it up again here. Slide this out. Right there. Now I'm just going to press down and drill my pilot hole here. Expand this out a little bit. Alright, we'll put this screw in. Square it up. That looks good. Right there. Now, in order to keep this, sorry about the camera there. Now, in order to keep this located where it is, I'm just going to glue these strips on there, probably 3/16 of an inch, right along here on the edges, and then these blocks are probably a 1/2 inch back here in the corners. Then once the glue dries, I'll trim everything flush and make it look decent, I guess. We'll put it that way. Okay, got my pieces kind of cleaned up a little bit, prettied up, I guess is what I called it. So that looks good, but the good news and the bad news is it works, but I put the wedges on in the wrong direction. The good news about that is that this thing is reversible, so I can just turn the bit around and use it that way. So that's really wasn't that big of a deal. So let me get it put back together. Gotta find my screw that fell there. And then I'll make a couple passes. I did make one pass here already. If you can see the bottom there, you can see the line is going that way. I want that to be parallel. And I'm not too concerned about starting at the heel here and working my way forward. But I want to get that line parallel, so I'll put it back together and see which side I need to shave a little bit off of the bottom here to get it to sit right. Okay, with that much tweaking, I removed that much material from the right side. Probably, I'm guessing maybe a dozen passes. I did 3 attempts at it, checking each time, but I left it fastened to the router plane, and you can see my line now is pretty much straight across, and I'm happy with that. So I'm gonna keep working on this. And the one thing that I have to be careful of is not to get this wet. So when I put my fluid on the stone, I make sure that the granite is dry underneath it. I'll show you what I mean here. So I've got my fluid kind of running down the center here, and I make sure that this is good and dry on either side. I'm going to put up, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some wax on this. That'll help protect it a little bit anyway. I'll be right back. Okay, waxed up and ready to go here. I guess it would help if I tighten it down. The other one rattles so much. And we're just about out to the end there. It's looking good. Alright, I'm going to come up with a different arrangement here so I can use the whole stone. I'm going to get a small piece of wood clamped on each end here just to trap this, but small enough so that I can still glide over the whole stone. That'll speed things up a lot. Alright, I just got 2 scrap pieces clamped to the granite here, and now I can use the whole stone. Making good progress. You can see I'm almost to the tip there. Probably a 32nd of an inch away. I don't know if you can see that color. Scratch pattern change there, but this is working really good. Really well, I should say. Where am I? There we are. So I'm still on 300. I'm gonna keep going here. Okay, I was still removing material on the 300 grit side, but I had a uniform scratch pattern. So I'm flipping it over. I did not change my depth of cut, but what I did do was I took this to my sink and cleaned off that 300 grit side. Rinsed it off really well. And then I got some sharpening fluid on this side here. Put a little more wax on here. On the table as well as my runners. And see if we can polish this up. Well, that's looking really good. It looks like it looks like I'm back. Maybe I did the back half first. So I'll just keep working away on it here. It's still removing material, I can feel it. See if I'm still removing material here. Now a little bit, not much. You can see the black streaks, but it's not taking much, that's for sure. Do have a little bit more to go out here. I can see the reflection. Maybe you can too. You can see out here where it's not quite reaching out to that edge. So I do have a little bit more work to do. I'm going to dial it down just a hair. I've got a dot on my indicator here, or on my adjuster. I'm just going to move it ever so slightly. I'm looking at the reflection up from the light from my window. That looks perfect. I don't know if you can see that or not. Nice and uniform. Okay, this method might work just using it on the diamond stone as well without building that jig. I'm polishing the bottom. I couldn't stop going here, but it's working out great. I've just got it clamped on my Jorgensen here. I laid it flat on the stone, so I know it's registered to that, and I'm just polishing it up here, and you can see the metal filings there. Now you can see where I was polishing right out here on the edge. See if I can change that camera angle just a little bit here. You see that little polished part right there, and it kind of comes down this side a little bit. Beautifully sharp. I mean, it is, like I said, I don't think it's ever been that sharp. Alright, I'm just going to hold this by hand. A little water on here. I'm going to tip it up and find that bevel right there. Tip it up and lock it down. I'm just putting my thumb right in this area here, thumb and forefinger, to act as kind of stops. guess I could push that back a little bit. Try this again. There it is. Right there. Lift up. And pull. Yikes. I'll make a couple test cuts here. I don't have a groove. I'm gonna just make one. That is incredible. You can get paper thin shavings with that thing. And one more pass, just a little light thin shaving. I don't know why you would need to do that with this, but you can. Beautiful. That's as sharp, I mean as smooth as can be. You can just feel that it's nice and uniform. And I can keep coming back, further back, and extend that groove. That's nice.